Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about fall because right now we are strong into fall and there is leaves everywhere, okay? So, there's a lot of ways to clean up leaves. Some people don't clean them up, but some people do. But when you do clean them up, some people just rake them up, some people just, mow over them, mulch them into the ground, some people vacuum them, and some people just leave them. Right? So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about one, if not the only, cordless battery-powered mulcher, leaf vacuumer, blower in one that we currently have in front of you today that exists. So we're going to be going over this tool almost top to bottom, but really we're just going to be talking about how well the mulching system works on this tool. Okay, so if that's what you really want to know, stick with us. So this right here is a 36 volt 18X2 LXT brushless blower kit with the vacuum attachment kit, okay? There's a lot of kits in there, so let's talk about that, okay? So you can buy this tool as a blower only. You can buy this tool as a blower only with a battery kit. You can buy this tool with a blower and a vacuum attachment kit. You can buy it with the blower and vacuum attachment kit with batteries. That kind of gets really confusing, right? So pretty much you got to know, you can buy this in all kinds of configurations, but the tool model number is XBU04. Obviously Z will throw in there with like tool only, without battery kits. But if you buy it with vacuum attachments and stuff like that, there's other model numbers. So just know when you're buying this tool, make sure you're buying the configuration that you want or need and not just buying the tool, because you can get it in different configurations, okay? So with that being said, this is a 3-in-1 tool. It's a vacuum mulcher and blower. The blower uses a Makita-built brushless motor that delivers up to 473 CFM and 120 miles per hour. The design is a commercial mulching system which has a 10-to-1 mulch ratio. What that pretty much means is if you have 10 bags of leaves, it will get mulched down to about 1 bag, okay? It has a metal shredding blade, aka that's what makes it commercial. It has cruise control that allow it to not hold the trigger, and if you buy it as a kit, you can get it, or the kit will work with, or come with 5 amp hour batteries, okay? So, the other things you need to take away from this is because it uses a Makita-built brushless motor, it will run aka up to 50% longer per battery charge than a brushed one, but we don't really need to talk about that because I don't think they really make a brushed one, so you know there's not too much to say. But it is included in there, okay? So it does include a bag if you buy it with a vacuum attachment kit, and the bag will hold up to 1.4 bushels of leaves. It has a speed lock, which we already talked about, commercial design for heavy-duty applications, and it's got the standard Makita XPT star protection and LXT technology. The other things you probably really care about, it's got static water lift in case you want to know how powerful it was, about 13 inches. The net weight with the battery on the tool was going to be 11.2 pounds. The tool without the battery, which no one really cares about because no one's using the tool without the battery, is 8.4 pounds. And because it's a 18X2, it's a 36-volt tool, but you really need two 18-volt batteries to make that happen, okay? It's got your standard Makita warranty, and just in case you need to do that. All right, you guys, so first things first, let me go ahead and say, let me apologize. I did not get a chance to blow this off right before coming in to film this video because I was just outside using it, all right? So with that being said, let's talk about the battery or the cordless part of this first before we get into anything, okay? So obviously right here, you'll see there's two battery compartments you can put in. There's two batteries that slide in from the back, and it's a 36-volt tool, as I just mentioned. So slide that in there, and you got two 5 amp hour batteries here, which makes a 36-volt 5 amp hour battery kit, if that's what you want to talk about, okay? So with this battery system, I will go ahead and tell you 5 amp hour batteries on high, I feel like you get somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes of run time. I'm not even going to talk about low because nobody really uses this on low, but just know that with 5 amp hour batteries, you'll get up to about 15 minutes of run time. So if you got a lot of stuff, then you need, you know, a lot of batteries, okay? For me, I have a ton of Makita batteries, so it's not really a problem. But with 2 Makita batteries, I can fill up the bag almost 3 times before the batteries die. So that's one way to look at it. You can look at it some other ways, but you know, that's probably the best way to look at it. So with that being said, the 2 batteries, when you put them in, will you know, power the tool, but the tool will not turn on, as you can see right here, mainly because like most, or not most, but like some Makita tools that are quote unquote, you know, high risk or dangerous, you will need you need to press the button that turns the power to the tool on before it operates. So that's one thing to note, but let's get into the rest of it, okay? So the battery's attached there. Let's talk about this front part here, mainly because the front part is pretty much the business end of it. And for this video, I'm gonna mainly only talk about the, what do you call it, the vacuum part. We can talk about the blower part a little bit, but I'm gonna mainly talk about the vacuum part, mainly because if you're buying this tool, you're probably buying it because you need the vacuum attachment. The main reason I'm saying that is because there are other blowers that are similar into performance for much better price, I guess, or better value than this that is lighter, okay? So if you need one tool to do all 3, you'll probably buy this, but if you're gonna buy this, I'm saying, only reason you would really buy this one is because you need the vacuum attachment. And like I said, I believe this is the only cordless battery powered one that currently exists. They do make an 18-volt version of this that takes one 18-volt battery, but that one is, I want to say, a lot weaker than this one. So let's go ahead and get into it, all right? So obviously this is the front part of it. This is where the leaves get sucked up. As you can see right here, the hole is pretty wide. It does work. You can either use this without this attachment here or use it with this, but you're not using it with only one port on it because, you know, you'd have to be a lot, I would say, vertically challenged in order to be able to do that, okay? So this attaches on here by a lock here, a lock screw that holds it down and keeps it secure, but it actually attaches on here by a twist, okay? So let's go ahead and twist and turn that off. And that's how it really attaches. As you can see right here, it's got a locking mechanism. You twist, turn, lock. That's how that works. And as you can see right there, it is pretty big or pretty wide, so it will vacuum up big leaves, just in case you had this big old leaves and you're worried about it getting clogged, right? So as you can see right here, this will automatically stay closed because it is spring loaded back here. To hold this closed, okay? And I believe that's a really smart design. It's a feature mainly because this is the dangerous part of the tool, because in here is the turbine wheel, right, that pulls the air in, and also the metal blades that we talked about that kind of make it commercial grade. And it's more than just three legs of metal, because the legs of metal are actually sharpened on one edge, or part of one of the edges. So it will actually do a better job of slicing and dicing and mulching. So that's kind of what really makes a lot of this more commercial grade, because of the metal component here, and not only this a turbine wheel that sucks the air in. Okay, so as you close this, right, if you're not using it like so, you just close this, and you, if I can do that, there you go, and then you screw this in with the thumb screw to keep it locked down. Okay, so that's how this really works. And as you can see from this design, if you want to use it as a blower, you would do the same thing with this part here. You turn this, right, everything on this is pretty much use a thumb screw to keep it locked down, but you turn this, you'll be able to pull this out like so, and then there is a straight tube attachment that would attach the same way, using this thumb screw lock mechanism to use it as a blower. So as you can see right here, you know, just imagine a straight tube here, and you can use it as a blower. I actually don't even know where that tube is, mainly because I've had this for over a year, and I've never used it as a blower only, mainly because we have so many other blowers, okay? So, but a 36 volt blower, I will go ahead and tell you, the 36 volt blower is actually really powerful. Even if it doesn't move a lot of air, it actually forces a lot of air further, if that makes sense. So it is a good blower. I don't want to discount that, but I just don't use it as a blower. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to put this thing back on here, because we're going to talk about this a little bit more. And this part swivels all the way, as you just saw here, on all angles, because it's going to be important that this swivels, mainly because you need this to swivel when you're using it, because the bag is very awkward, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Okay, so put that in there, slide this down. Once it's in there, you should be able to put it in, turn the thumb screw, and then it keeps it locked in place. Okay, as you see right here, it says Makita XBU04, and this part that says Makita is literally just printed on there. It's not like raised edges or anything like that. Okay, so that's how it works. And as you can see right here, it stands pretty well on this like guarded rail edge, which also double serves as a handle when you are using it. But that's this end of the tool. Let's go ahead and talk about this part back here. And we'll go ahead and say, as you can see right here, 65 dB. When you are using it, you know, probably like noise warnings. And this is one of the only tools, I want to say, one of the few only tools where you definitely want to always keep this lanyard on here, mainly because the tool, you're going to be using it for, I want to say, a longer period of time. And if you're vacuuming up stuff, it's always good to get the weight onto yourself and not only on your arms. All right. So with that being said, this part that says Makita is actually raised. This part says LXT 18X2, 36 volt. Just in case it comes up, you have to have two 18 volt batteries. It's a 36 volt tool. You cannot use this with only one 18 volt battery. That question always comes up, so I didn't want to answer that. On this part of the tool, there's really nothing else to look at, but the top part right here, there is a power button, which the power button you have to hold to turn it on. If you press it once, it will be low. Press it again, it will be high. I can go ahead and show you that if you wanted to. Just like, take this battery, plug it in here. Take this battery, plug it in here. As you can see right here, no action, okay? So, if I plug this in, turns on. I often like I only use it on high, so here's on 1, there's on 2. Press it again, goes back to 1 and 2. So it will eventually time out if you don't use it for a while, and that can be annoying if you have to like, if you forgot that it turned off and you try to use it and it's off and you got to press it again. But usually you can empty it quickly enough. That doesn't happen. Every once in a while, you'll end up talking to a neighbor or something like that, and you'll forget about it, but it will remember. So for this, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this off. And as you can see right here, the trigger is right here. It's a variable speed trigger, and as most Makita variable speed stuff, this variable speed is very nice. It works really well. This right here is also the speed control. You can either, I would always recommend putting it to where you need to and then moving this right to where it is, because if you can move it just by moving this, but it's a lot more forceful and it feels like you're kind of working against something to make that happen. But if you are using it for a long time, you know, obviously cruise control definitely helps. But like I said, you get maximum roughly around 15 minutes of runtime on high. So, you know, not having cruise control wouldn't be too much of a problem, okay? So that's what that does. Let's talk about this chute port, okay? Mainly because the port that comes in here, or this port, is the vacuum suction port. Air goes in here through this turbine, the blades that spin fast mulch it up, and then it comes out of here, right? And it's got to go somewhere. And that's where it comes out of here, and the attachment needs to be talked about, all right? So when it comes out of there, it goes into this bag, okay? So this bag is actually secured onto this tube by a strap that is just cinched down, right? So you just slide this, I'm gonna have to open this, but you open this tube port up, all right? And then you slide it over the tool like so. Come on, right? And then you cinch it down once it gets here. I always find it easier to just use two hands here. You can use one hand, get it done, but you know, like that. So that's pretty much how that works, and a lot of vacuum mulching attachment tools I've seen work this way. It would be nice if somehow there was a better mechanism to do this, but I just haven't seen one, I haven't seen one at least, that works better than that. So that's just how they mostly all work. This bag will say Makita on it. That's this part. If you look at the other part, the other side of it, this other side actually has a net here that allows the air to flow out a little bit better. And it actually part up here, right? In case you can't see, since it's dark up in there, where the net kind of goes all the way, the mesh kind of goes all the way up through here, but it is blocked off about halfway. I imagine that's mainly to help manage the airflow, because as the bag gets full, right, you can still have air coming out of here, but if it was too open, the bag may not, what do you call it, inflate enough to be full. And it does work pretty well, this bag. So this thing helps kind of manage or restricts the airflow where as needed, but it doesn't, like, the air won't stop because it's only halfway full. This will actually let the bag get fully full before you really have to empty it, okay? So speaking of empty it, the way you empty it is this zipper that's down here. So, you know, you just go here, pull the zipper. As you can see here, there's a bunch of mulch in there, and dump it out, put it back on, and you are good to go, okay? So that's pretty much the main part of the tool. Just in case you wanted to talk about the lanyard or the harness part of it, let's go ahead and talk about that. So the way you're supposed to allegedly use the tool according to instruction manual is that you stand, and I'll throw up some pictures of it, you stand in between the bag here, and as you hold it, or this is the wrong side, you stand in between the bag here as you hold it up, right? And this part comes around backwards like so, right? So just imagine you are standing right here, okay? And then this is around your body or yourself, your person, and then you want to clip this part to here, okay? So the bag kind of clips onto here while you're standing up, and then while you're standing up, it kind of helps you to hold this bag, or your body is helping to hold this bag out. And that's how it's really designed, and I feel that it works okay. It's just really awkward to use. If you use it a lot and every day, I'm sure you could probably get used to it, but I really only use this, you know, during the fall. And I don't use this to vacuum up the entire yard space. I really only use it to vacuum up some certain areas or things that don't get picked up by the mulching mower. So it's really cumbersome to use and really awkward. I really wish there was a better ergonomic way design or something like that for this to work. But most other mulching vacuums that I've used, including gas-powered ones, work in a very similar fashion. So it would be nice if there was some type of innovation that made somehow all of this stuff better, but that's how this works, okay? All right, so that's what you really get with the tool. Now let's talk about the actual operation of this tool, okay? And before you really get into it, let me go ahead and say the stuff that I'm gonna show you is not how I really operate the tool, or how I use the tool, if that makes sense. The way I really clean up the leaves around here is really using a combination of a blower to blow them all out of the area into, you know, a centralized area, then using a mower to mulch vacuum them up, and then coming back around with this tool or a blower, depending on how much is really left and what needs to be done to clean up the stragglers, right? That's how it really works. I don't go around the entire acre yard cleaning it up with this thing because it's just insane to do that. That's just not efficient. It would be really slow, and now you'd get really tired. So like I said, what's actually happening now, how I use it in that manner, but I just wanted to show you how, in case you are using it to mulch or pick up around flower beds or anything like that, that's pretty much how you would really use it, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about exactly that, because this thing has modes 1 and 2, like low and high. Like I said, almost everyone uses it on high. It's got enough power on high to suck up small to medium-sized bits of mulch, especially if they're not wet. So the low may be used by some people, but what I've seen a lot of people do is, they just pull it further away and still use high, so nobody really uses low, okay? So that part works really well. A lot of times people will use this tool to clean up around flower beds or mulched areas, mainly because a blower, a lot of times will just blow all the mulch everywhere, okay? So that's kind of why I'm trying to show you some of the stuff. But with all the other stuff being said, the main thing to really take away from what I'm showing you is there's probably somebody out there with better technique that can probably do a better job. You can say that almost about anything. This is just my experience with the tool. It would be nice, like I said, if there was somebody came up with some type of innovation to make this less cumbersome, right? I feel like it's a really awkward tool to use. No matter how much I use it, I feel like it's not a tool that I get better with. Some people may not agree with that, but maybe the learning curve is a little bit steep, and as soon as you figure out how to use it, it kind of tapers off. It's not like a tool that you can increase your skills in a way over time. So anyways, the point is, without too much jibber jabber, this is actually a great tool. I really love this tool, mainly because I believe it's the only tool, and I could be wrong, it's the only tool that is battery powered mulching system. I believe that's currently on the market. I haven't seen one from any other major brand manufacturer. There may be like some one-off thing somewhere that we don't know about, not any major brand manufacturer. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a more of a 18-volt one that kind of has like two tiny wheels you can kind of roll across. The 18-volt one just doesn't have enough power as this one, okay? So I would really go with this one, okay? So with that being said, let's answer the question, would I buy this again? The answer is, first of all, yes, I did buy this. We bought this about, I want to say, a little more than a year and a few months ago, and we did buy with their own monies. Nobody sent this to us. So the answer to that question is yes, I will definitely buy this again, because it definitely beats using a gas-powered one, which I have used the gas-powered one for many years, and it beats using a cord. Nobody wants to be walking around with this cumbersome tool and a cord. Nobody wants to be breathing gas fumes. So I'll definitely go buy this again. If there was a better option, I may look at that, but right now I believe this one is the best one. I believe that's currently on the market. So yes, you should definitely buy this if that's what you're looking at. Speaking of buying it, let's talk about price, okay? So the price of this tool as a blower only option, blower only, tool only, if that makes sense, a tool only with the blower mode, okay, is somewhere around let's say $280 to $300, okay? If you wanted to buy the vacuum attachment without the batteries, it's going to be roughly around $80 to $100 more, okay? So the vacuum attachment on this as a tool only this entire setup without the batteries will be around $380 to $400, depending on what kind of sale and stuff like that you pick that up on. So if you're buying this, it's going to be a pretty good investment. It's not one of those $100 tools, right? But it's going to be a pretty good investment. I can go ahead and tell you, after many cycles of batteries I've been through this, or many bags being emptied, it's held up fine and it works really well for what it is, okay? So hopefully that helps you guys out. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day and get back to work, and we'll see you guys next time.